Dude, trigger pulled, y'all.
Oh, hello there, everybody.
Oh, shit. You're an asshole.
Welcome to the 25.4 podcast.
An unrehearsed, hastily assembled program presenting inside opinions and forecasts on major issues of the day.
And welcome back again. I'm your host, Andrew Long. And joining me tonight, as usual, are Brandon and Robert. How are you, fellas?
All right.
Not cold. Did you say cold?
I said cold. I'm from fucking Minnesota. I just got back from Arizona, so I am abnormally cold right now.
Well, what is the temperature?
Like 40, or less than that even.
Isn't that what you call spring in Minnesota?
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't see my tiny violin on the desk anywhere. I'll see if I can find that for you.
So, Tim apparently is away on assignment once again. He's a busy gentleman. So let's get right into it, shall we?
Let's do it.
I got a lot of problems with you people.
As always, we have lots of problems and so little time to fit them all in. So, Robert, what's your problem tonight?
Is this in the spirit of the new format? Where I don't like go on for 20 minutes. I just say something simply and then move on.
If we want to revisit, we'll revisit later in the show. But yeah, let's try to.
You can go on. I've got Blacklist to watch, so feel free.
So, did we agree that we're calling this the Cheeky Taurus rule?
Yes.
Yes.
People that call themselves visionaries, while at the same time completely lacking any sense of self-awareness. Don't call yourself a visionary unless you're Steve Jobs, who's dead, or Bill Gates, or a very limited number of people on the face of the planet who could actually credibly get away with calling themselves that. If you call yourself that and you're not one of those people, punch yourself.
And I would suspect, just throwing in my 2 cents, that most of those people that could get away with calling themselves visionaries don't. All right. My grievance is, what kind of idiot would leave the trunk of their car open overnight with their golf clubs in it while it's pouring down rain? Oh yeah,
I know.
This kind of idiot.
I know.
The one that's hosting the show. Yeah, I did that last night. Thank you to my neighbors for not helping yourself to my golf clubs, but a phone call or a text wouldn't have hurt you either. So.
He's coming right back. I'm sure he'll be right back.
Yeah. So everything's dried out though now. So
nice.
all's good. Brandon, what's up with you tonight?
Yeah, slow clap to Microsoft for the email that had 1,400 people in the CC line. I was unfortunately one of the 1,400, so I'm anxiously awaiting the uptick in my spam mail. Also, in news today, we're renaming something yet again. They're now called Windows apps, folks. So hopefully we can change the name of a whole bunch of shit just a little bit more, just to confuse the fuck out of everybody, just so that we can all be equally WTF'd when we walk away from build.
Yeah, maybe we can talk about that a little more later too. And the email thing, I got that too. So. Everybody else on that email chain should have gotten an email with a link to the show for tonight. So I assume 1,400 developers tuning in tonight for the show.
Well played, sir. Well played. That was well played.
I'm entirely too lazy to have actually done that, but it would have been an idea.
Wow.
Moving on, let's get on to our daily affirmations.
Because I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me.
Brandon, who doesn't seem to really understand what one sentence means, what's your affirmation this evening? Or affirmations?
And you know what? I'm going to turn it into one sentence just because you're being an asshole about it.
Yeah, it'll just be one run-on sentence.
Arizona was awesome because I flew out and it was 86 degrees. Where I landed, it was 36 degrees with 4 inches of snow at my house, which was less awesome.
Was that
There's
fresh
one.
powder?
What's that? No, yeah, well, it was heavy, wet stuff, but yeah, it was fresh. Visual Studio 2015 CTP6 finally lets me debug a Windows Phone app on the emulator, so I finally get to start my upload to YouTube conversion to WinRT. Hooray! That's it.
I want to talk to you more about that later, too.
Feel
Robert,
free.
do you have an affirmation? Or are you just too grumpy today?
I'm a little grumpy, but I have one. I actually, for one of the very few times in my career, actually asked permission to do something, and I got it. So my affirmation is from my employer, who let me upgrade from Windows 7 to Windows 8.1 so that I can actually do something in Visual Studio 2013 for a change that requires Windows 8.1. And I was able to get Windows 10 in a VM today, so I'm very happy. I'm at least, I don't know, I've kind of dragged myself into 2012 at work, so that's better. So
And I,
very
and,
cool.
I don't know what one sentence is, so fuck you, Andrew.
Well, you know, even one run-on sentence that had Arizona and Visual Studio 2015 in it would be terrible. So, since Tim isn't here, we'll let it slide this evening. And Robert, on your Windows 7, Windows 8.1 deal, I'm in the same boat. I just finally, like a few weeks ago, got my workstation upgraded to Windows 8.1. So it's nice to make some progress with Windows 10 squarely on the horizon.
yes, it does. And when we get into the next segment, I have a few other comments about that.
All right. Well, my affirmation real quick is to DirecTV. I love you, and I've missed you, and I'm sorry for straying, but I cannot wait until you are back into my life tomorrow. So, thank you, DirecTV.
Do you have AT&T?
No, I have Dish.
No, for your phone service, your cell phone.
Cell phone, yes, it is AT&T.
Oh well, at least they're all. You really should be thanking AT&T and telling AT&T how much you love them.
Did they actually buy DirecTV then? Did that happen?
I think it's. I don't know if it's final yet, but I'm pretty sure that they have gotten the green light.
Okay. Well,
Congratulations!
I couldn't find the button.
I'm sure that's not the first time you've heard a complaint about you not finding something.
There we go. There it is. There
Sometimes
it is.
also referred to as a button. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, we've only used 8 minutes of a 25-minute show, and we have all this time now. I hope we have other stuff to talk about.
Well, we have a segment called Shoot the Sheet for exactly this reason, so let's do it.
Let's do it. Who wants to get started?
Well, back to the whole work in Windows 7, Windows 8. After attempting to, it's one thing to actually use Windows 8 at home, and in a limited fashion that I used it at home before I went to the technical preview in 10. It didn't really cause me a lot of problems, but it still wasn't ideal. It wasn't until I sat down in front of my computer at work in an enterprise environment and actually logged onto the domain and started using this as an enterprise user that it became very apparent why enterprises just simply will not upgrade. The upgrade experience was crap. I can see why they wouldn't want to go through that en masse. Yeah, it was sucky. So I'm a little bit more forgiving now of some of the shit Microsoft's, like the naming of the apps and Modern and Metro and, back and forth and finally settling. De-Sanofskying Microsoft and Windows has clearly been a gargantuan task, and I didn't really have much of an appreciation for just how badly Sanofsky fucked Windows up for the enterprise and until now. So great going, Stephen.
Well, I've been using 8.1 at work for 2 years now. Domain, enterprise, all sorts of stuff. I don't have any gripe with it.
You've already gone through the adjustment period.
Well, I think those who aren't willing to go through the adjustment period should just shut the fuck up.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, because
Switch over
CIO's
to OS
responsible.
10. Get
Yeah.
the hell out of here.
The CIO's responsible for their budgets are very open to being told that.
They're gonna have
You're
to
on.
do training anyway. Just quit your bitching.
What else? What else,
Well,
gentlemen?
what about the Windows 10 coming to the Xbox?
So okay, so this got brought to my attention by a follower of mine who's been following me for quite some time on Twitter. Dark Curious is his name. He
Curious? Is that?
no Dark Darkurious. He's a good
The
dude.
homo didn't say it. Just the homo didn't say it.
He's serving our country. He's a good soldier. I like the guy. He brought it to my attention from an article from way back in January, where who's the lead of the Xbox? I forget his name.
Spencer.
Anyway, yes, Phil Spencer.
Phil Spencer.
Where he's talking about Xbox being able to run Windows 10, or he's mostly talking about how on Windows 10 you can stream your Xbox games to your computer and blah blah blah, all that stuff they showed off. But in the very last paragraph was something that I completely missed, where it said, while Xbox is coming to Windows 10, Windows 10 is also coming to Xbox. And I had completely missed this. And I'm really curious what we think it's actually going to look like to have your Xbox upgraded to Windows 10. What the hell is that even going to look like? I can't even wrap my head around what that's going to actually mean.
Well, I would suspect it'll look no different than it does now. Other than the usual, portal upgrades that they do.
Okay, Mr. Literal. What I mean is, how in the hell is this going to happen, and what is the upgrade process going to look like for an end user? What is this?
It'll look just like any other Xbox update.
Yeah. I mean, the whole point of this is to customize to form factor, target to form factor, and I would imagine that everything will look almost exactly like it does today. You've seen some stuff in Windows 10 on the phone start to look like Windows 10 on the desktop, and I imagine there might be some areas like settings and things like that if it holds true, they might look similar to that. But I don't know. It'll be interesting. I think it will be interesting to ask that question, actually see it. But I bet it looks, like Andy said, almost exactly like it does today. I don't see them really changing the user experience much because of the nature of what that form factor and that platform does.
The only thing that I think will look like the other Windows platforms, desktop, tablet, or phone, would be when we start seeing apps showing up, and that's one area where we really haven't seen anything yet out of Microsoft as far as what that story looks like from a developer standpoint.
Right. So what happens when Windows 10 gets pushed to Xbox? Is it just a 4 gig download and the thing is just installing Windows 10 in the background and nothing really changes from your user experience? It's just on one of those 3 OSs that Xbox is running. It's now booting up 10 instead of whatever the hell it's booting up now. Is that what we anticipate?
Remember, they're creating a unified core. The unified core isn't going to be 4 gigs. And the Xbox doesn't have nearly as an immersive and expansive UI as the phone, even the phone or the Windows desktop does. So you could conceivably see, yes, the core is going to be the Windows 10 core, and it's going to have the Xbox UI as the experience overlaid on top of that, is how I would imagine it happening.
But you can't tell me that an Xbox game is going to run itself through the Windows 10 core. There's no way. That would just totally kill the performance.
Why are you making that assumption?
Well, because, in this same article, they talked about how the Xbox is essentially running 3 OSs at once. Xbox One is, right? So my
currently.
thought is, yeah, currently. And so my thought is that whatever OS it is that runs the apps, which I assume is whatever Windows Core something or other or whatever, is running apps, that is what's going to get upgraded to Windows 10 or the Common Core, and that is what's going to start being able to run universal apps that any developer creates. I was just curious what we thought the update to the Windows 10 / Common Core would look like, how that would take place on an Xbox. I just can't even really fathom it, I guess.
What I would guess is, over the course of a week or something during its nightly check, it's going to download little chunks of the whole update, and once it's got everything done, then it would install that. It's not going to be one huge download that you're going to have to do, and just sit there and wait, with your console unusable while that downloads.
Yeah, and I mean, it does remain to be seen just exactly how large of a download it would take to implement this vision. I wouldn't think that it would be nearly as large as a Windows ISO is right now. So.
Either that, or they're going to send out discs like with Good Housekeeping magazine.
Oh no!
Your new AOL CD?
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. So does everybody have the latest preview installed?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah. In fact, it just updated. My Surface just updated today. I haven't actually tried to use it, but I got prompted for that update on the slow ring.
So the big thing that I remember hearing was the issue with apps not working, right? Let me share the screen out.
Wait a minute, Bobby. You said the slow ring got 10041?
Yeah, Gabe announced that on Twitter. I think it was yesterday or the day before that they were pushing it out to the slow ring.
Dude, that's a fucking mistake. This is the most broken build they've released.
Well, but also consider that there are fixes now. There are several updates, and there's the manual fix for the app issue. So
none of those PowerShell bullshit commands have done a damn thing for me.
Yeah, so that's what I found after I did my install and saw the issue.
Yeah, none of that shit has worked for me. It hasn't changed a damn thing.
Did you go to the store and reinstall the apps?
Yes.
That was the second step.
Yes.
And they don't open.
Nope.
They don't open. Mine
the title
open.
is still mangled.
So mine actually open, but the icons on the start menu are all hosed up.
Huh. I've performed that same function on my Surface and my desktop, and it worked perfectly both times.
And the Mail app is still foobar with respect to the icons for replying and deleting mail. They're still way off the screen, and you can't get to them. In fact, 90% of the store apps that I run have the layout of the app is all fucked up. Games will not maximize. They'll stay in a small window that's in the big window. Yeah, my Mail app doesn't behave anything like that.
Okay.
Those
I feel better then.
Are totally gone. And the only time I get to see those buttons is if I shrink the Mail app to be about this wide. But as I grow the Mail app wider and wider, the buttons slide further and further off and eventually disappear. And 90% of my store apps behave that way. And they did not do that in 99.26.
You mean your Windows apps?
My Windows apps, yes.
I don't have any of those problems. My mail's perfect.
And you can't uninstall the Mail Calendar People anymore.
No, you can't right now.
Yeah, so I can't fix it. I cannot even uninstall and reinstall it. It's really, really bad for me. I'm very glad I don't use very many Windows apps. Sorry for all you people who've put time into those. I'm really glad I don't use a lot of them now because they're completely fucked in this build.
Huh. No,
I feel better about my install now, so thank you for that, Brandon.
Yeah, I mean, it's so bad I almost got to the point where I was going to wipe my Yoga and do a fresh install of the Windows 10 build and see if it fixed everything.
You may still want to do that.
Yeah, I might. We'll see. I'll wait till after build.
So, y'all, I assume y'all saw the back and forth, the dueling rumors across most of the websites, NeoWin and The Verge. Was it The Verge or just Tom Warren on Twitter about the whole Android apps on Windows thing again?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if this is necessarily a grievance, but one of the things it irritates me to no end when they get started on these back and forths and start bringing up stuff like this again. And normally I give a lot of props to Brad Sams, but his article in particular. I mean, Windows Central is kind of a Me Too article. His kind of, it seemed to me, maybe I got the timing wrong, but it seemed to set it off. And he even got really specific about that it wasn't, I can't find the exact wording he put out, but it was along the lines, Android apps and Windows, there it is. It was a source, let's see here. It was a source that didn't actually know, but that actually worked at Microsoft, supposedly. And he didn't really have any details. It was just a rehashing the other thing. And then Tom Warren said something about it again today, about it being something being talked about at Build, or things will become much more clear at Build as to exactly what that means. And then if
his other comment was that it's not what most people think.
Yeah, but then if you drilled down into the replies, somebody had said something about being able to write and in Visual Studio and compile an Android app from Visual Studio and a Windows app as well and publish both. And he said exactly. So I don't know. I think this whole everybody getting their panties in a twist about Android apps running on Windows Phone, I don't think that's it at all. I think it's probably going to be something tooling-wise that makes a Visual Studio more of a cross-platform tool.
Well, I hope so, because one of the things that Brad pointed out in his article on NeoWin was the developer reaction to that kind of thing, and I think it would be overwhelmingly negative.
I actually, what I would like to see is if we are sitting there in the keynote and somebody comes on stage and actually shows Android apps running on a Windows Phone, I would like a good 60-70% of the audience to just get up and walk out of the keynote.
I'd appreciate booing, because booing would come through on the live stream.
Well, that's true, but maybe we could boo
on your way out.
Did we just lose Bobby?
He's kind of frozen. Oh, darn it. I was going to put that face up nice and big, and that would have been classic.
I take it I'm back?
Yes, you are.
What was the face?
And I don't want to do it, because...
Right, yeah, nice try. Well, I'll go on record with this.
It was similar to an O face. Yeah.
Almost. It was an ooh face. I'll go on record with this topic like I did on Twitter. If it has anything to do with Xamarin, I'm not fucking interested.
Not at those prices.
Not for $1,000 for a lowly indie hobbyist developer.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Not paying it.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. That's a ridiculous amount of money to expect an indie developer to come up with.
Yeah. And then have to learn how to use Xamarin.
Yeah, and to have to go out and buy a $2,000 Mac on top of that. Well, I guess they could get a Mac Mini, but still.
Right.
Just having to go buy another piece of hardware just to be able to use the SOC now.
The only thing I would even remotely think about clapping for is if Microsoft has, with all their meetings with the Cyanogen guys, figured out a way to just take the .NET CLR and compile it down to the Android API and allow you to deploy it straight to an Android device. All from within Visual Studio, out of the box. No additional shit needed.
That would be
I would
pretty...
maybe think about clapping for that. I wouldn't be super thrilled because I really don't give a shit about Android. But that's the one thing that I would be at least a little bit, oh, that's kind of nice. I'd have that reaction.
You did hear, though, this week that the whole Cyanogen investment rumor and all that other stuff was complete horseshit, right?
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit last week, too.
I must have missed that while I was sitting in the airport.
Yeah.
People were distracting you, trying to ogle the women behind you.
Well, and then Andrew friggin' put me up on the big screen for the whole damn time.
I think that's going to be the last word for the regular portion of the show. As we've hit the 8:55 mark, so it's time to wrap things up. Apologies to Rudy Wynn again, and apologies to Tim wherever you are. I hope you're doing well. We miss
Caracas,
you.
Pakistan.
He could be. He could be in Caracas, Pakistan. Join us again next week. If you're listening live, or watching live, I should say, stick around, because we've got so much more to talk about. Just so much more. And I'm going to break out the Periscope app here for the After Dark as well. So follow us on Twitter at 25.4 Podcast, on the web, 25pt4.com, and in your favorite podcast app, 25.4 Podcast. Anybody want to say anything else? Nope. All right. Seacrest out. We always get like extra viewers at the end. Now we're up to 3 viewers. We had one and two for much of the show.
They don't want to listen to the clean stuff. They want to hear the dirty after hour sex talk.
Everybody's tuning in for the dirty portion.
Tim's retweeting stuff.
Oh, nice.
So he must be somewhere.
Yeah, he couldn't have been too busy tonight.
Huh.
Caracas has interwebs.
So I want to hear about your upload to YouTube. What you're doing, upgrading from what is it now? Windows Phone 8.1.
Yeah, Windows Phone Silverlight 8.1.
Okay, yeah. And you're upgrading to Windows 10 Universal or Windows app.
Yeah, I'm trying to go universal with it.
So what's the process you're doing to do that?
Well, they wrote a real nice group of documentation for exactly this purpose. It's porting your app from Silverlight to WinRT, and they have namespace and class mapping. So if you use this namespace, here's the new one that you use. If you use this class, here's the new one that you use. And basically, they in the One Channel 9 video that I watched, what they tell you to do is take all your code, copy it into a new WinRT project, compile, and just rip through the errors. And every error you run across, literally do a find on this web page to find the new namespace and new class you're supposed to be referencing, and just step through them one by one by one by one by one. So that's what I'm doing. And actually, the Common Mobile, I've got a library called Common Mobile that I share across all my projects, and that's been all Silverlight. That one's proving to be the bitch, because that's the one that has all of like creating tiles and updating tiles. I have all that logic common. Doing network connectivity checks, and that stuff is like down to the core different. It's not just namespace and class name changes. It's like completely wildly different. So it's arduous, but hopefully I'll get her done. I'm not even 50% through it yet. So am I on fucking Periscope right now?
Yes, you are.
God, I hate you.
It's the new wave.
No, it's not. You know what it's going to be used for? This is live streaming via Twitter. It's going to take about 25.4 minutes before that turns into live streaming porn on Twitter. You know it's going to happen. Why wouldn't you do that?
Why would anybody want your face in their porn? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying. I had a radio personality here locally was talking about how they used Periscope in the studio today to show people live what the studio was like during this particular segment. And I was like, this is totally going to be used for porn. Why hasn't this already been used for porn?
Patience.
How do you know it hasn't? Was it like yesterday?
Usually the porn industry is the one to adopt things first, right?
I think we have better luck with Meerkat.
I loaded the web browser page, but and I get a nice, pretty background, but and I see the word live, but I don't actually see anything happening live.
Huh. Well, we've had 2 people jump on, and jumped right off.
Like, oh, it's not porn.
Obviously,
this isn't worth my time.
People have extra good taste.
Oh, that's not what I thought it was.
Oh shit! It works in Firefox.
Come on, jump on, and jump right on. Two people come on, jump on, and jump right on.
Oh God, come on, guys, mute your shit. This
I
is
just
not
turned
cool.
it off. I wanted to prove that it was actually working, which is why I left it
God
on.
Almighty!
Yeah,
I'm
it
gonna
actually
break the matrix if you keep that up.
It's like going back in time and meeting yourself. It causes paradoxes. Space-time continuum
I've
paradoxes.
been crying too.
Andrew, Jesus.
Stop.
All right, Andy.
Stop it now.
He's making everybody crazy.
So,
Oh, hey, I wanted to talk about your trunk incident, Andrew. So the picture I have in my head is of your car trunk wide fucking open, just hanging out there, waiting for somebody to come by and take your pretty little clubs. Is that what happened, or was the trunk lid just like popped? Like
when I walked out this morning, it was wide open. So I tried to piece it back together in my mind to figure out what happened. So I played golf last night, and it's that time of the year. It's early in the spring. The weather can be iffy. It was a little cool. It was a little rainy last night. So we had the whole course to ourselves, which was nice. But a lot of stuff got wet. Had to wear all my rain gear, stuff like that. So I came in. I brought some stuff in.
Whoa. Would you say you got wet while you were golfing?
I mostly stayed dry. Some of my equipment got wet, but I stayed dry.
Again, not the homo saying these things.
So I brought that stuff in, and I think I got distracted with a snack or something. I was going to go back out and get more stuff. So I came in, and I had something to eat, and I just totally forgot about it.
Damn you, snack foods!
Was there like a doggy treat in the corner, and you're like, squirrel?
No, you know what there was? There was the Coke from Mexico that has real sugar in the fridge, and I love that stuff.
Well,
I quit drinking diet soda. Now I only drink soda that actually has real sugar in it. I think that's better for me, actually.
Probably.
Right, where do you tell yourself?
Well, it's better than chemicals, right?
It's all chemicals.
Real sugar is not a chemical.
Anyway, back to your golf clubs.
Natural. So the best of what I can tell, that's what happened last night. I totally had a brain fart that I'd left my trunk open, and it rained pretty good last night. It poured, and so shit was really wet this morning.
So note to the audience, if you want to steal some of Andrew Lump's stuff, just go lay a sugar Coke in the corner. And
Yeah, I'm easily distracted.
How do you clean up a trunk that's taken on water all night?
Well, the golf bag and my towels soaked up most of the water. The rest of it was pretty dry.
Oh, okay.
So
Interesting.
So the sun came out this afternoon. I opened it back up, and I told my son, my oldest son, who's responsible, I said, now, remind me, my trunk is open again.
your oldest son is not distracted by sugar Cokes. So was there a good funk in your car when you drove it around today then?
No, I mean, the inside of the car is fine. And like I said, the trunk itself didn't really seem to get a whole lot of the rain. It all got intercepted by my bag and all my towels. So.
Nice.
Yep. That's it.
That's a Missouri thing right there. It just happened.
A Missouri.
I think the Missouri thing is that, the trunk wasn't totally empty when I woke up this morning.
Yeah, that is.
I think
kind
that's
of
a suburbia.
So what about Skype for web? Did you guys see that today?
No. I'm not interested in running shit in my web browser. That's why I fucking hate Hangouts.
Well, thanks for
I'm not
that.
Skype at all, so I ignored that. What about the new Surface? that allegedly is coming.
I like how we just totally shut Robert down.
That's fine.
Your
That's
topic sucks. What about the Surface?
I was two out of 3.
Your topic sucks. What about My Little Pony?
That's okay. I can take it.
What about My Little Pony? You're still angling to get on that on the Big Bang Theory show. You're one of those adult men that are into My Little Pony. There's actually a documentary on Netflix about that.
Oh God.
Yeah, you've told us about it once before.
Did I
How many
really?
episodes have you
Well,
watched?
Who keeps bringing up My Little Pony then? Because it's not me.
That whole brony Pokemon, a whole genre of just adults doing shit like that. I'm just like, what is wrong with y'all? Sorry. Hopefully I didn't offend anybody, but
I didn't look at any of the stuff about the new lower end Surf. Oh wait, yeah, I did. You guys posted in the room. That was the Core M or something else we were speculating about.
well,
Right.
it was going to use an Intel chip, and it was going to be fanless. They didn't really say which one it was. There's speculation that it'll either be an Atom or a Core M. I think those are the only two fanless CPUs Intel has. But what I thought was even sillier is I thought Microsoft kind of put to rest this Surface 2 is dead. WinRT as a separate SKU of Windows is dead. And then I started seeing people start talking about this successor to the Surface 2. Well, no, because wouldn't a Surface 2 successor necessarily require a SKU called Windows RT in order to run?
Yeah, I guess it depends on how you look at it. I think they're saying that it's the successor to the Surface 2 because it's a lighter weight Surface. Like the Surface 2 was lighter weight than the Pro. I think that's the successor portion. I just want to also say that my ADD just really went off on a tangent when you said Intel has. I thought you were going to say in Tallahassee.
in Tallahassee.
That's where your mind is right now, in Tallahassee.
You just started talking. You said the only two processors in Tallahassee. That's what I totally thought.
Well, under some circumstances, were I drunk, I would guess that maybe my lisp confused you. But since I'm not drunk, that just means you're just screwed up in the head hearing shit. Yeah, exactly. No, the whole idea of this, I actually think that it's very likely that this will end up being the Mini.
No, I don't think so. I think it's just going to be like a lower end SP3.
Yeah, I said Mini too and got poo-pooed on that. So
we'll see.
You know,
we'll see, Andrew Long.
Yeah, well, won't we? Maybe you guys will get them for free at Build.
No,
I see it kind of as an answer to the new MacBook.
Possibly.
So it'd be a SP3 that's a couple $100 cheaper than what's available now.
That's possible. I mean, it would make sense. The SP3 has actually gotten a lot of traction. It's fairly a popular device. It's universally well regarded. It's gotten a lot of good reviews. I love mine. Everybody who's got one loves one. I haven't heard anybody really complain about it. So it would make sense that they would want to try to capitalize on the current popularity, the popularity of the current model in that sense. But I don't know. I probably wouldn't buy one. I would be disappointed if that's what we got to build. I would prefer to have something a little meatier, like an i7 SP3. But
I want something with 16 gigs of RAM.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I'm so sick of running out of RAM when I'm spinning up Hyper-Vs with Visual Studio and all this shit. Or, here, better yet, allow me to emulate a phone without a whole goddamn virtual machine. Fucking A.
One day, Brandon.
What are we keeping you on?
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry
it's been a long day.
Man.
I've been upset.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Got up at 2 o'clock in the morning to let the dog out. Then didn't really get a whole lot of sleep after that. Then got up at 4:45 to go to work, get ready to go to work. I was at work right before 6, and then I didn't get home till 3, and I haven't had a nap. So fuck you. Leave me alone.
None of this matters. How many hours of sleep does your band say you got?
No, it doesn't because I keep forgetting to turn it on.
Well, nice work.
That is the one thing that always irritated me about the Fitbit, and it also irritates me about the band, is that this damn thing apparently can figure out when I've gone to sleep and when I've woken up, but they haven't enabled it for some reason, and that's kind of stupid. I either forget to turn it on or I forget to turn it off.
I want to know how that's going to work. Because I, in my mind, I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination when it comes to sensors and all this kind of crazy stuff. But the only way they could know that I've gone to sleep is that I'm still and my heart rate has dropped.
I would imagine that what will occur if I were them, my thinking would be, well, I'll kind of do a training period where I get tracking from a couple of nights of manual engagement, and then I run it through the Azure machine learning, and have the Azure machine learning figure out when I'm gone to sleep. And why are y'all laughing?
He said nights of manual
engagement.
What? What did I? Mute yourself, Brandon. I can't hear Andy.
Sorry.
A couple nights of manual engagement.
Of course y'all would laugh at that. Of course you would.
Because we're very familiar with it.
Yeah, well, aren't we all?
My band should also be quite familiar with it.
I wonder what kind of machine learning. Well, it probably knows when you're doing that too. Now it
write
runs
an
into
app.
Azure. Yeah.
With the band SDK.
I'm gonna write an app that counts reps.
Whacker tracker.
Oh, brilliant!
Whacker
Nice.
tracker. Oh,
if I had a band yet, I would go ahead and start working on that tomorrow.
Why don't you have a band yet?
I'm waiting for the stores near me to get their inventory, the Best Buy stores.
Is it not available online?
Yeah, but I want to just get it in the store so I want to make sure the store has it, so if I get it and it's the wrong size, I can exchange it easily.
Oh, are you getting it for you?
I'm not getting it for you. You've already got one.
Well, you could be getting it for your wife. That's the reason I was asking. Because if it's for you, you're going to want to get the large.
I am getting it for me.
You're going to want to get the large. I thought I would end up getting the smaller one, and no. Size queen had to get the bigger one.
Yeah, I usually end up with the large.
That's a whole lot of innuendo for 8 seconds of talking. Good God.
Brandon, there's one other question I want to ask you about upload to YouTube. Do you think that what you're doing with the inline upgrade or whatever is going to take less or more time than if you had just started like with a green field, file new project, and went that route?
I thought about that, and I actually think it'll end up being a wash no matter which way I go, because there's so much logic in there. I still haven't even checked to see if the YouTube libraries that I'm using are even going to work. So I don't even know. I don't know what I don't know yet. I mean, I could get to this whole point, get the views and the view models and all the background uploading, processing, and all that stuff done, and find out that the SDK I'm using for the YouTube stuff doesn't work with WinRT. That's a total possibility here. In fact, now that I've talked myself through it, I should probably figure that out first.
Might be a good idea.
It might be a good idea. Yeah.
That's the whole reason I mentioned looking at the Azure platform and the Twitter integration, is because I want to upgrade Hashtastic, but I don't want to have to invest my time and energy in fixing Tweet Sharp to work on WinRT. So if I can use this app platform instead and then have a back end that's somewhat agnostic to everything going on where Twitter's concerned, that would be much preferable. So I have to do that research myself before I get started.
Yeah, and that's one thing we didn't really talk about much during the show is the new Azure stuff. But that all sounds really cool, right?
It sounds cool.
Yeah, I just read about it, and I haven't even looked at my Azure portal to see what they actually did to it.
I mean, just watching them do some of the integration demos. You know, it was of course with business apps. They didn't demo any of the Twitter stuff or any of the social networking stuff. But it was what was that, Twilio? I think it was. There was some import from Twilio and
for sending out
Salesforce.
messages and stuff.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I mean, it looked very drag and drop and very easy to work with, but you know, like we said earlier, it's all about the details. So
maybe we should get
Can you imagine?
Yeah,
Can you imagine what kind of frickin' brainiacs are working on the Azure dashboard team? What in the holy shit? I've never seen a website do the kind of shit that thing is doing.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
unbelievable.
It
I
does-
have
it
no
does
idea
some
how many people they
amazing.
got working on that, but they're frickin' geniuses. Crazy.
Yeah, it's some pretty amazing work.
Agreed. What else is going on?
Can I talk about my trip to Arizona, or you guys don't care?
No, absolutely. Knock yourself out. This is after
I
dark. Anything goes.
I got to feed tigers, yo. I got to feed frickin' tigers. I fed a Siberian tiger.
Do you have any pictures of that?
I have tons of pictures. 4K video. It was incredible. My wife bought me for my birthday a trip to a wildlife refuge, and she bought the VIP experience. So we got a tour from the guy who owns the joint and started the refuge and rescues these animals. And we were within inches of, you know, all of the big predators, and we got to feed like a rhino. We got to feed sable antelope, which are some of the most dangerous antelope on the planet. It was really, really, really cool. It was really, really cool. So I had a blast, and Arizona wasn't bad either. It was super nice. Really good weather while we were down there. The sun is no freaking joke down there, man. Holy crap.
Did you get a little burn?
I didn't get burned, but my wife did, and she was like out of the little like safari van that we were in, was covered in everything, but she was out in the sun for maybe 15 minutes altogether, and she was beet red.
Wow.
Like it was no joke.
Did you rub some lotion on her?
I put some lotion on her skin. I did.
Did she get the hose again?
Okay, moving right along.
Hey, you set it up. Somebody had to deliver the punchline.
No.
Hey, there was a new Windows Phone app released today that didn't have a hamburger menu in it.
You said something about ESPN?
Yeah, the new ESPN app.
Really? Because their old one had a hamburger menu, didn't it?
I don't
ESPN
know.
one?
I don't know.
It had that ridiculously gaudy flyout and all.
Well, they have
sorts of-
two apps, right? They have the Score Center app and then the Watch ESPN app. That's on Windows Phone as well, right?
Well, the one I'm thinking of, I thought it was called ESPN Hub. Could be wrong though. Maybe they got rid of that. I don't know.
I guess I have a Windows Phone here. I could look.
Do you? You're not too engrossed in your iPhone? Meh.
It's a 920. They do. They have the Watch ESPN app.
Would you like a 1520, Andrew? I'll send you a 1520.
I don't know. Maybe they're really big.
It's red and glossy.
Just like how he likes his lipstick.
Now
There was no hidden meaning in there. God, y'all are horrible.
So there's actually. I'm looking.
Andrew,
looking
have
now.
you applied for any of these contests?
Yeah.
About giving away build tickets? The fuck?
So I need to write up the thing for the Ad Duplex one. They need like an email write-up deal. And the other one I saw was you have to go through like Microsoft Virtual Academy courses. So I've been doing that. I don't think I'm
Good.
through it all the way. But although I'm wondering, because ultimately you're just putting a tweet out there. So I wonder if I could get away with just doing the tweet.
Unless somebody sends you a questionnaire and
That's
basically
probably what I'll try. Did
test
you
your knowledge.
guys get the develop email today
Yes.
about amnesty for people with multiple accounts?
Yeah, you know what's weird is I didn't know I had 2 accounts, but I got 2 emails on 2 different accounts, my primary and then another email address that I did ever thought I signed up for develop with. So,
Well,
which was a
shit.
little weird.
Maybe I'll check mine out too. I don't recall getting an email, but I'll have a look see.
What I wonder is, I assume some of those people with multiple accounts have multiple market accounts. You know, where they have apps released under different entities or whatever.
Possibly.
So I wonder if they have a way to combine, so you could have multiple store accounts on your single develop app or develop account.
Doesn't I don't know. That may be it, but it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like they're just gonna.
Yeah, like if you just have other. So ESPN actually has several Windows Phone apps. They have the Watch ESPN app. They have the ESPN app, ESPN Radio, ESPN Fantasy Football, ESPN Crick Info, which I assume is about cricket, which everybody loves. ESPN FC, which is a soccer app, looks like.
What's ESPN?
It's the everybody else watches sports programming network.
Why am I not allowed to use any like sound effects and stuff like that? Why is only Brandon allowed to do that?
Who says I'm the one doing it?
Do you have the thing open?
Well, I go to the control room, but it tells me
It's
that
in the,
I'm.
you want the toolbox. That's where aren't they? Or no, where are they?
I'm not telling.
You want Google Effects. That's where all the sounds are.
Oh, I thought it was. Wow.
That was something.
Yeah.
Bobby Bob showed his O face right there.
I still I see props, but I don't hear. Oh, there we go. Yeah, baby. All right, there we go. I found it now.
Yeah, I don't have any emails from Develop. So I did not get. I must not be an offender.
You must.
Yeah, maybe they only sent them out to people who they figured out
Naughty,
had multiple accounts.
I can show you the ridiculously stupid mail app and what all my store apps are doing now.
So, when do we think we'll start seeing the merging of the 2 separate stores? And when do we think we'll be able to start submitting apps to the store in preparation for Windows 10 mobile and apps, Windows apps in general?
I bet they unlock all that at build.
Do you think that'll be the day or the week?
Yeah. Oh, Mr.
Andy's
Long
shaking-
said
No.
Yes. Andy's shaking his head no.
I don't. So, they've announced that Windows 10 desktop, I guess, will be released sometime this summer, which to me says September 19th or whatever the last day of summer is, right? I suspect I'll be able to start actually submitting stuff to the store a month, maybe a month and a half before that.
So July, August timeframe, somewhere in there.
Yeah, that's my guess. And the mobile stuff will be much later because I don't think they've even laid out a guess as to when that's going to be out, other than I think fall time, unless I'm
interesting.
mistaken.
I would hope that they would come out at the same time.
Well, I don't know.
I would hope.
We don't know anything about that whole process anyway. Since a universal app is a universal app, right? It's a single binary, right?
Yeah.
So presumably that's going to be a single package in the store. Yes, no, maybe
supposed
not.
to be.
We don't know for sure, but yeah, that's what you would think.
Yeah, the way they've laid it out, it's supposed to be a single AppX package.
So, if that's the case, it would be the same time for both. What I'd really like to see is a new Windows 10 for phones build. We haven't seen a second build yet, and that's been what, over a month now?
I don't even want a new build. I want them to actually deploy it to some phones that people fucking use.
Well, I'm sure that's going to happen.
Gabe has said that will happen. He's been specific that it will come to new more phones and some of the high-end phones.
And
I was shocked to see how many 635s were sold last month, and how all of a sudden that's the big phone on the AdDuplex stats for March, or February.
They had some pretty deep discounts on that stuff. There was some pretty wacky prices going on around. The other thing I want to see is when they do release Windows 10 Mobile, it'd be pretty cool if they just said, fuck you, carriers. Because God knows I am never seeing that OS on my Lumia icon on Verizon. Never. That will never, ever happen.
Not with that attitude, it won't.
Yeah, don't be so sure about that. Don't be so sure about that.
Oh,
so Windows Central, I know you hate Windows Central, Brandon, but they've got an article.
I didn't even hear the words you just said.
From a little earlier this evening that purports to show some screenshots of the Spartan browser running on Windows Phone.
Well, what could that come on. What are we looking at? The existing browser on Windows Phone has an address bar and a refresh button. What the fuck more does Spartan give you?
Well, maybe you should go look at the article and see.
Not gonna do it.
Well, haven't we already kind of seen? I mean, these screenshots don't show us anything different than we've already seen in other screenshots. There's, what, 3 of them?
Yeah, I think so.
There's 3 screenshots. They look like the last screenshots that they showed before. So it doesn't look like there's anything majorly different about them.
All right, well, I must have missed those then.
Yeah, it was a while back. I think Brad Sams had them on NeoN first. I don't know, it might have been another website, but yeah, it's so much of the content that, especially this week, that I've seen come across a lot of the websites, Windows Central. It's just been regurgitated crap. It's like, for lack of any better news, I almost think that that's why Tal Perrott was whining about the build, is I think he needed something to write about. And there was a dry well, and he didn't have any content. The man's got a website to publish content to, and there was nothing to talk about. So I almost believe that that's why he lost his mind temporarily. But that's just me.
The other interesting thing over on Windows Central tonight is a poll.
The hell?
You need a... What? I'll do this just for you, Brandon. I know you love it. Do you need official apps so long as there are good third-party ones?
Did you notice the results?
I didn't actually look at the results, because that would have meant I'd have to vote.
Well, you would have thought that the results.
Oh, you can view results.
You would have thought that the results would have been support devs who support us. But actually, no, that's only at 17%.
I'm surprised there's not an I Love Rudy option on there.
Well, and that's kind of how I interpreted. No, support devs who support us was the Rudy option. But no, only to build the platform, a reputation of the platform is pulling in first right now, which I'm actually a little surprised by, given the fanaticism of the commenters over at WP Central. So,
yeah, that is
on that subject matter, I have a confession to make. I am.
Oh my God!
It is really, really, really starting to wear on me how many new things are coming out in the mobile space where Windows Phone is completely ignored. It's really starting to wear on me. Meerkat, Periscope, all the banks pulling their apps. It's really getting to me. It's crossed my mind on more than one occasion whether or not owning one as a daily driver is the best decision for somebody's mobile experience.
you are not alone in questioning your orientation in that way.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
In
Now
that
that's
way. In that way.
Yeah, so I sat down with myself on that orientation question back in August, September, and made my own decision. So,
Well, I want to use Periscope. I want to use Meerkat. I want to use a lot of this stuff. At least try it out. And now I can't even try it out. And there's nothing on the horizon that says. I mean, who's come out and said, you know what? When Windows 10 comes out, we're going to embrace the platform wholeheartedly, and we're going to start writing these. Nobody said that. Nobody said that.
Right.
So, I mean, at this point, we have no clue.
Yeah, and it just keeps dropping in market share, frankly. I mean, you see the market share numbers continue to go down.
Well, they go down 0.2% here and 0.1% there. I mean, it's still holding around 3%, which has been pretty consistent. But nobody's writing apps at 3%. Nobody's going to write apps at 3%. And quite frankly, I don't see that. I see us having that exact same conversation next year, this time at around 5%. And we'll be talking at about 5% what percentage it's actually going to take for people to start writing apps.
Yeah.
yeah. So one of the guys I play golf with asked me last night about, is Windows 10 going to be the thing that sort of gets it going? I was like, well, they've been saying that the last 2 versions or so, and really a real honest opinion for me on Windows Phone is that I can see it maybe at some point getting up to 10% market share, but it's never going to approach, Android, iOS, and I don't think it would ever get much beyond that. I think it's very niche. I still think that there's a huge percentage of Windows Phone users that are developers.
Yeah, I think that's probably true.
Yeah, and I think that, to be honest, I don't think I would ever own an Android. But if Visual Studio comes out and says that I can sit there and code in the IDE that I love in the language that I'm an expert at and deploy it straight to my Android without batting an eye and paying a dime, I don't know. That's pretty damn compelling. If I can still do my mobile dev in the way that I know how to do it best and target the most popular smartphone OS in the world, why would I spend my time targeting 3, 5, 10%? I think 10% is the tipping point, just to get that out there. Yeah. But why would I spend my time?
Yeah. I think if you start to see over the course of the next 8 to 12 months, market share starting to come up on a pretty steady tick, then it may not hit 8% or 10% in the next year or 2 or 3, but if there is at least some obvious measurable growth that seems to be somewhat sustained, that says people are adopting this, then you'll start seeing people dive in at 6, 8, 10%. I don't know that there's going to be any one tipping point, but it will be the perception that there is some level of momentum and a user base behind it. That's when you'll start to see that number tick up. But not before.
The thing that really got my gears turning on this, I sat down and I thought, well, what does Windows Phone have that iOS doesn't? And the answer to that used to be, it's got Office, it's got OneDrive, it's got Messenger, it's got all this stuff. None of that is true anymore. None of it.
No. And all the really cool social integration and things that got pulled out in Windows 8.
Exactly, and this was the point that I was trying to make back when they ripped all the social integration out, back when they started announcing they're going to write all these apps for these other platforms. You're taking away the incentive to go with Windows Phone. I mean, for fuck's sake, they want to bring Cortana to iOS. Now, I mean, literally, I have no reason. There's literally nothing to keep me on Windows Phone. The only thing keeping me on Windows Phone at this point is I know XAML. That's it.
Well, one of the things that's keeping me on Windows Phone is the Lumia devices. I do think the hardware is pretty awesome. If I could, I would never become part of the Google ecosystem, the Google Play ecosystem. I would never become part of that. But I can see myself one day having an Android device that is full of Microsoft services, running Cyanogen or mod or any of the other alternate, the true open source version without Google involved in it. I can see myself doing that at some point, but hopefully it won't come to that. Hopefully in a year from now we're going, hey, look at that 8% market share. Look how great the uptick is and the adoption rate, and
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll
I think
see.
the other thing too that's really killing my enthusiasm is Verizon's lack of support for Windows Phone. The lack of a flagship, the lack of any noticeable attention at all from my carrier. The update mechanisms, it's just really chapping my ass lately. So I'm really hoping after build, I get a renewed sense of pride for Windows Phone. But we'll have to wait and see, I guess.
I think what the platform really needs is a good new low-end device.
I was about ready to jump forward and say yes.
We
Hey.
haven't seen one in a few days, so I think it's about time.
We're into the 4s. We can still go to the 2s and the 1s.
There's plenty of room to go lower, baby.
Yep, there is.
Plenty of room.
All right, gentlemen. Well, I'm going to call it an evening.
I think this is a good point to do that. Yeah.
Rock on. Sorry to bring it down.
Hey, at least we're not BlackBerry, right?
At least we're not BlackBerry.
Yeah, that's true. At least we are holding at 3%.
Yes, exactly.
And the usage, the number of users is growing. Even
Yeah,
if
there's.
market share goes down, it's still growing a user base.
Well, I mean, yeah,
So
that's the rant I went on a little bit
something.
ago about market share. Was like, if you look at shipments, they are selling a shit ton of Lumia devices for Microsoft. It's not a shit ton like Google Android shit ton or iOS shit ton, but for Microsoft, a shit ton. So that's not bad.
Yeah. All right, there. We brought it back up. We can end it on a happy note.
Alrighty.
Well, thank you, fellas. I enjoyed it
you.
as always.
Do we have any viewers?
3. We've had 3 viewers for
Wow.
most of the After Dark segment.
Hi, Kevin. I know. I think Kevin's probably one of them. Tim's probably the other one.
3
Yeah,
caballeros. Thank you, sirs. And,
All right.
and Adams, potentially, I suppose, but probably all guys.
Probably. This is the Sausage Fest podcast.
Oh,
Perfect. Later.